Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phil's Place. My name is Philip Clark. This is the second episode of this podcast, and I am more than fortunate to have two great people that in this interview who come from a great musical background. And these two gentlemen, David Bufalini and Joe Munroe, are members of the Beaver Valley Music Hall of Fame. And this isn't just some small little thing. This is a big deal because there are so many great musicians who are in the Hall of Fame, which we will get into. And then we're going to talk about the Holly Jolly Christmas concert that will be taking place at Hopewell High School on Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. So let's get into this. David, Joe, how are you both doing?
Good, man.
Good, Phil. Thanks for having us.
Good to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, let's just cut to the chase here. The two of you are accomplished musicians. The two of you play together, and the two of you have, all these connections in the local Pittsburgh music scene. But a lot of that comes out of Beaver County. And this is just such a cool thing for me, and having been a former resident of Beaver County, I can attest to all the success that comes out of so many people from all the different towns within Beaver County. So David, let's start with you. How long have you been playing music? What got you into music?
I come from a long list of musicians. My dad plays trumpet, still does at 89 years old. My grandfather was a singer and had his own big band, was on the radio for years on Saturday nights, Henry Buff and the Henry Buff Orchestra. My uncles, my great uncles, all musicians. So kind of grew up with music, listening to music. My grandfather always playing the Italian music, the big band music. So
Oh
my
yeah.
dad started teaching me trumpet when I was in fourth grade, and that's what I wanted to play anyhow. I was drawn to the instrument, and so I took lessons from him, and then from him I went on to Bruno D'Ambrogi, a great man and a great musician that I come to love so much, and played in concert bands and started playing in bands in ninth grade in high school, actually, and junior high, playing on weekends, and then through school, played in a basketball band, jazz band, concert band. Started playing taps at military funerals when I was in high school. Still do that now, all these years later, and been playing in concert bands and in bands my whole life, basically, up until now. Different bands, top 40 bands, whatever. So that's how I got to meet Joe years ago at a gig, and we connected, and we have a lot of mutual friends. And as Joe said before, the music community is we kind of all know each other. Our paths cross, and here I am. But and we'll get to why the Holly Jolly show is what it is right now. Also,
Absolutely,
thank
absolutely.
you.
Joe, how about you? How did you get started into playing piano and keyboards and everything?
It started for me pretty young. I was 4 years old, and my oldest brother was taking piano lessons and rehearsing a song for his recital, once a year recital. And so they'd get it early enough to play it over and over and over and over so they could memorize it. And it worked for me. So I watched him playing it. And when he got up and take a break, I jumped up on the piano and started playing that same thing. My mom thought it was him coming back to practice way soon. She was happy. She comes running in the room, and it was me sitting up on the on the piano bench. And so, I kind of took over at 4. He decided to stop taking lessons, and I started with a lady that I fate kind of worked this out, and she was a fabulous teacher. Just so I took 12 years of lessons at starting at 4, and so it's like kind of what she gave me was sort of the PhD course in music and all the theory and all that stuff, and be like going to college for 12 years about on musical stuff. And so it was wonderful. I was very fortunate in, all those things working out that way. And I've been blessed to do this as a career, my living, my whole life, being a professional musician. Didn't go to college, just started playing. So
That's great. And we all grew up in this like magical time period of rock and roll. How it evolved from the 60s going into the British invasion, going into like, prog rock and
yeah,
the music scene in San Francisco in the mid 60s, turning into the Monterey Pop Festival, and then in the Woodstock, and then the 70s just blew up with all these bands that have a horns background,
but yeah,
and if the two of you want to touch upon that, David, I know you're a big Chicago fan, for example.
Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Tower of Power. Yeah, I love the horn bands, but that's one of the things when I was young. Sitting home, my dad turned me on to Blood, Sweat, and Tears, especially their first album, "Child is Father to Man," and then, of course, their second album, and then Chicago 1 and 2 and 3 were incredible, and, yeah, I remember sitting home and turning on the stereo, especially when my parents would go out somewhere and stand there with my trumpet next to there, try to figure out the horn parts and play this, and, like, someday I wanna play these songs. Someday I wanna stand on stage somewhere and play these songs, and, when you're young, you're make believe and that you have that dream, and, like Joe said, we're blessed and, the little talent that I have to be able to get up on stage and play those songs in front of people and have some fun doing them, and, yeah, so, yeah, the horn you're right. The '60s into the '70s with the horn bands, incredible, and
I
a
Right.
bunch of great
I gotta
songs.
say this about that era of music, and it's like music was, I mean, it was exploding in this way that was very different than what was going on up to that point, and it continually branching out, but also just generally any band would come out with a new album, as we called them and as they are. uh those times were like a whole experience, man. You'd say, like, somebody would say, you know hey, the Doobie Brothers are coming out with an album. It's coming out this Thursday. We would run to the record store and get that thing, and it would be an experience. We'd immerse ourselves in that, and it was constant. There were so many great bands and just different styles of music, but every one of them was the same way. Like, kind of, okay, put some time aside, we're sitting down, and you're listening to the record straight through at least once. I mean, on the first sitting, but
Right.
that excitement, I wish the generation now could experience music in that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hear you on that one. My son who's 24 absolutely loves Chicago. Um, and I've always done my best to make sure that he was listening to the music that I personally grew up with.
Yeah.
And then like, my older siblings who all love music and what they were listening to even before I was born. I was born in 70, but I'm blessed to come from such a big family and all their interest in music. And that's how I, kind of got into Chicago because all those albums that you mentioned, 1, 2, and 3, then so on and so on. I mean, some of those songs, especially the early Chicago when Terry Kath was in the band,
Yeah.
I really truly just, immersed myself with all that music. And I think even Jimi Hendrix said at one point, that he said Terry Kath was the best guitarist in rock and roll, you know,
He was
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
but to have like these 4 guys playing rock with 3 other guys on horns, they did it right. And you mentioned Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and then another band that comes to mind, like someone like even Earth, Wind& and Fire,
Yeah.
it's just such great, great music, and
Yeah.
just incredible, absolutely incredible,
And that was,
you know?
that sound was never heard before. It just wasn't done before. And those
No,
those guys all shaped and created that, and you can see the impression the imprint they have put in music, that that kind of stuff is still going today.
yeah, absolutely. What
Right.
great influences. So, I don't want to say we ride on their coattails, but the two of you have played in bands and with that type of sound. And if you just want to, the two of you want to talk about how you both met each other and how it got started with your relationship.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, no, like Joe had said before, the music scene, just like sports and other things, you all cross paths. And I've heard a lot about Joe before I met him. And we both kind of have the same recollection. We think that I was playing in a band and we needed a keyboard player. We called Joe up. Joe, I didn't because I didn't know him at the time, but somebody called him up and he came and played a gig with us. And then a friend of mine, Joe Rossi, and we formed a band to do a special occasion. And
Mm-hmm.
we called it the Old School Band, and Joe was a singer and keyboard player in that band, and we grabbed some musicians in Beaver County that we all know, and
Right.
so we ended up playing one gig. It was supposed to be one and done, and I think we ended up doing like 6 gigs. And then, Joe knows a lot of people that I know, vice versa. The best man at my wedding, good friend Mark Hennessy, was in a band with Joe for many years. And so I started doing one of the bands that I was in was doing some recording at Joe's studio. So we just
Hmm.
became friends from that. And then when I started this Holly Jolly show, my goal was to have one of the musicians on stage would be Joe Munroe. At the time when I first started, the first couple years, Joe's schedule didn't permit him to be a member. I think Joe came on in year 3, and now we're year 9, and I'm glad to have him. And actually, I asked Joe a couple years ago to be my music director for the show, and which is great with Joe's experience, his demeanor, and sense of humor and everything. He's the guy because, you know, he's Joe fits the mold, and so it's
I'm
great. So
demeanor
that's how
one.
we.
I'm demeanor one in the band. Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. Joe,
Let's
Joe
talk
just
about this. Let's talk
Joe
about this
has it.
concert.
Joe has it.
Okay, let's talk about this concert that you're organizing, Dave. The Holly Jolly Christmas concert.
Yeah, this is year 9. It's called the Holly Jolly Christmas Concert. And it's a partnership between me. I run a program at Hopewell, the Hopewell Area School District called Artist in Residence Program. And what I did starting in 2006 is I'd bring a professional musician in. This wasn't my idea, by the way. A dear friend of mine, John Fogg, was real quick story on this. I was playing in a pit orchestra for the Hopewell musical, and so is my friend John Fogg, who's a sax player. And we had a lot of Hopewell students in the pit orchestra, so we had a high level of musicianship from them. So they were in the orchestra with us, and he looked around and he said to the band director, "You should have an artist in residence program here at the school," which the big band that he was in at the time, the Trinity Jazz Orchestra, they facilitated a lot of these artist in residence programs in the area. So anyhow, he says, "But you'll need to have somebody that can organize it for you." And the band director at the high school, the band director at the junior high, and John Fogg all at the same time said Dave Bufalini, which I wasn't present at this meeting that I got volunteered for, but I was more than glad to do it. So I started this program, the Artist in Residence program, in 2006 at Hopewell. Brought a professional musician in for a week every year, and then we would do a show at the end of the week with the students and with the Trinity Jazz Orchestra. So all I wanted to do was make it an educational experience for the kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is I started making money doing these shows. Okay. I covered my costs, but then I had extra money. So the first year I thought, what do I do with this money? So I talked to the band directors, and of course, with the budgets, what they are with high schools, with arts, they don't have a lot of fluff to buy things. So I bought the first year, I bought a brand new trombone, a brand new baritone, and a brand new trumpet, and donated it to the school. So now, fast forward years later, every year I would do that, make money, and then I would buy instruments. And I really wanted to focus on kids that can't afford to buy or rent them, because there's so many students out there that want to be participate in these things as well as sports, but they don't have the funds. So that's what I concentrated on. So this is year 9 of the Holly Jolly. So 10 years ago, I shifted gears into the Christmas show to benefit the music program at Hopewell, because I was talking to a friend at the library. So they have a fundraising arm, say like my counterpart at the library. There's a group called Friends of B.F. Jones Library, and they raise
Mm.
money for the library, and they try to concentrate on children and youth programs, but also many other programs at the library. So we were talking, and he wanted to have a Christmas show, and he said, "Hey, can you help us out with this?" It was kind of like a mutual thing where I kind of agreed, I kind of volunteered, and they kind of asked me at the same time. So we switched to this Holly Jolly format, and I was organizing all of that because with the musicians that I know, et cetera. So it's been very successful. We get sponsors to help underwrite the show, and that's the key. Our sponsors are the key because they underwrite the cost of the show. Because ticket prices are only $20 for adults, $5 for students. Anybody 5 and under are free, and because I want people to be able to come to the show. We've had
Right.
many people come to the show and say, "You're not charging enough." I've gone to Pittsburgh and seen shows this quality for 80 or $100. But again, it's a local thing. We want parents to come, grandparents. We want people to come and see it. I'd rather have 900 people at $20 than 200 people at $80, right?
Right.
We want people to come, and the children are involved too. So we don't want to block out the families. So the sponsors help underwrite the show, and it's been very successful. And every year we split the funds 50-50. Half goes to the Friends of BF Jones Library, and most of that money, if not all, is used for children and youth programs at the library. And then the money that I raise, my portion, my half, goes to buying instruments in support the total music program. That's course also. That's all the way down to the elementary schools, starting at fourth grade. So from fourth grade to high school, anything the kids need, music for chorus, instruments, uh, anything like that. And it's been very, very successful. And the thing that I'd like to stress with that is there's nothing wrong with the fundraisers that bands and everybody has, but think about it. Like this is how I explain it to people. You know, if you buy a hoagie or buy a pizza, it's done, right? But
Right.
money that's raised for this, like for example, if I buy the school an alto saxophone, anybody that donates via sponsorship or comes to the show, you're helping to create a legacy because that
Yeah.
saxophone may last 20 years. So
Right.
every 3 or 4 years, you have a student. Conversely with the library too, they may buy a computer, and how many years is that computer gonna last, and how many children are gonna touch that computer? So this is something real, something really tangible that goes on and on and on. It'll affect people like music will affect them like it affected Joe and I per se,
Right.
okay? So that's why
Absolutely.
I'd like to stress that point that these things live on. You buy a saxophone, a trumpet, a trombone, they're maintained by the school, and, I even pay repair bills for instruments to keep them going at the school. So it's a great, great thing, and, the children are also involved. I have the Hopewell High School Drumline performs. They
Oh,
perform
that's
with
so
us, they
great.
perform by themselves. The Hopewell High School Chorus performs by themselves and also with us, and, so it's a really, really neat thing, and I promise you, anybody out there watching this, listening, if you come to the show, you'll be hooked, and I guarantee you it'll be the best $20 you ever spent on entertainment.
Oh, without question, without question. I have to say that, David, this is how I met you. A very similar band was put together. It did a show at Moon Area High School in 2019. It was a fundraiser for the music program at Moon,
Mhm.
and it's personal because my son was in the show. He was a snare drummer in the marching band, did concert band, all that type of stuff when he was a student at Moon. And being at that concert, um, it touched everybody. I know it touched us. It touched Brandon. It touched my wife, Nicole. And I'm still reeling from that gig that was 6 years ago.
You're right.
6 years
Mhm.
ago, I still have vivid memories of, everybody who was involved, and everybody did such a great job. But, let's get back to your show. Who's in your band? Like, who are the guys that you have involved or the women that you have involved? I know Joe's playing.
Yeah, it's amazing because there's so many fantastic musicians in the area, obviously, and, but, so I put this band together, and it's a great lineup. On drums, we have Greg McEltrott.
Yep.
Great drummer, singer, guitar player, harmonica player, just an all-around great musician. On bass, we have Jimmy Spears, who's one of the most in-demand musicians in the area. Jimmy's just a fantastic guy, one of the sweetest guys you ever meet. And I could say that about the whole band, and I mean it. It's a
Right,
chemistry thing also on stage. I mean, the
right.
people that are assembled are all phenomenal people. We get along together. Very easy to work with also. So you got Greg McElchon on drums, Jimmy Spears on bass. On guitar, our house guitarist for the last 8 years was Rick Clue. Rick's schedule
Yeah.
does not permit him to be here this year. And I thank Rick for all his years with us, and fantastic guy,
Great
fantastic.
guy too, yeah.
So this year we've got Danny Gochner, a guitar player for the Rockers. I've not met, I know who Danny is. I've not met him personally. We've talked on the phone much with the help of Joe Munroe. We got Danny to come in. He's very excited about the show. And I'm just very, very excited to have him in the lineup this year. Really appreciative of that. On guitar also, we have Rick Wachowski. Rick comes
Oh,
out for
yeah.
about halfway through the show. And he just loves this too because of what it benefits. He
Right.
loves the fact that we're giving to kids. Our other special guest guitarist this year is Bobby Thompson, local blues guy, singer, songwriter, guitarist. Uh, on keyboard, we have, of course, Joe Munroe, uh,
Oh,
who's like the rock of the band. And on the other side of the stage from Joe is Fred DeLue on keyboard. So those two guys take care of the keyboard duties. And we got the Holly Jolly horn section, Jeff Davis on baritone sax, Glenn Belvis on tenor sax, Kelsey Steele on trombone, myself on trumpet, on percussion and vocals, and utility guy. We have Danny Taylor, B.E. Taylor's brother. We've got Danny's three daughters. We featured Bailey Taylor, singer songwriter based in Nashville now. Bailey Bate Taylor, her sister Sydney Taylor, her other sister Jordan Taylor. They're
yeah.
on vocals. And boy, I hope I didn't forget anybody, Joe. Did I? Guitar,
I don't think so.
bass,
No,
drum.
no,
No, that's
Any other
everybody.
singer?
Yeah,
Any
we
other
also have
singer?
we have special guests this year. We had her last year, Mary Hours, KDK
Yeah,
weather person. She sang 2 songs with us last year. She's doing 2 this year. Phenomenal singer, great person. We have a lot of fun with her. And yeah, that's the lineup. So it's and then we have the Hopewell drum line. We have the chorus. So it's we have appearances. Santa Claus is very busy, has a very busy schedule, but he's
yes,
scheduled
yeah.
to appear this year. So we will hopefully he can drop in again this year. He's been there every year. He's found some time to get in and get to the auditorium to see us. And also Frosty. We're hoping for a little bit of cold
Ooh.
weather so Frosty doesn't melt. So he's at the show. And yeah, so it's an all-star cast and it's fun. It's a family-friendly show. The little ones always love it. We bring the little ones up on stage and sing with Bailey, and she always does something special for them. And Santa and Frosty always hang out with the kids. So it's 2 hours of good, wholesome, pure entertainment.
This is one of the best ways to give back to the community,
Yes,
and, everything you just talked about, there could be a future musician who makes it big that will be playing, in this show. The kids that are gonna be coming up, in the music program at Hopewell, or even in, some of the other school districts, who might be going to this show and saying, "Hey, this is really cool. I wanna start playing sax. I wanna start playing keyboards. I wanna start playing guitar." Any instrument, that's the power of music. That
yes,
is the power of music,
for sure.
and it's worldwide. Music is the international language. We all know that, um, and coming from Beaver County, and I really want to segue into, the Beaver Valley Music Hall of Fame, and some of these heavy hitters that are members of the Hall of Fame. If Joe, if you want to talk about, like, say, Henry Mancini,
Oh,
I mean, one of the best composers
man,
this world has ever had.
it's it's just beyond my wildest imagination that I would belong to some, you know, recognition group of, with the likes of Henry Mancini. Like that guy just, he's a once in a lifetime, talent. His level of, you know, what he attained in music is just staggering. The playing songs that are classics, like worldwide, just played all over people, and reached the absolute pinnacle in this field and industry. And it's just humbling to be even thought of to be in the same. He's one of the founding members, I'm pretty sure, of the Hall of Fame. And it's quite the honor. And so we got a lot to do to kind of help us try to live up to that level of stuff. And I do think that the Holly Jolly show, and doing things like Dave does, it's those are really, really important things. And I'm happy to get that, be just a small part in those situations, keeping music alive. And as you mentioned about, could be somebody who becomes one of the great players, but even if not in those, from every level of it down, music, I know for me, has always been, it's almost like therapy. If you have problems,
Yeah.
something goes on, you can just go play music, and man, it just makes you feel better. Like, and to have that kind of effect on human beings, and person after person. And you can see that's one of the reasons why music is such an important thing in schools. And it's proven that to help kids learn more things. And just it's exponential what it does. So I'm happy to be involved.
That is just phenomenal.
Phil,
And we were talking earlier.
if
Go
I
ahead,
could touch
David.
on something with that real quick.
Yes, please.
So to segue from what Joe said, um, it's like building a house. You have this foundation and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So the money raised from this show, I could touch on a couple things real quick. Um, so the audience hears too. The money raised, now I'm to the point where I bought keyboards for our junior high band director. All right.
Wow,
So what
that's
she did
great.
is, if you walk into, these are a couple examples of what this show does for the lives of students. You walk into a room we have at our Hopewell Middle School. There's desk all through the room, right? Just like you would go to math class or history, etc. But on every one of these desks is a piano. And through this Christmas show, I've been able to buy keyboards. And our students walk in. They're not necessarily band students. They can take this class. They can take this
Wow.
class and walk in and learn how to play piano in this classroom. And it's never torn down. This classroom is dedicated to pianos. So, and also, so that's what this is doing for students.
That's
So you never
incredible.
know. Like Joe said, we can have a Henry Mancini pop out of one of these rooms one day, right? Because of
Right.
the resources that otherwise would have not been provided. We
Mhm.
also have at
That's
the high
wonderful.
we also have at the high school guitar class. So you don't have to be in
Mm,
a band. You could take this guitar class, and the school fronted some money, and then I gave about 80% of it and bought these guitars, acoustic guitars. So they're taught guitar in guitar class. There's guitar 1, 2, and they progress through as they get, as they learn. And we also have a class in the middle school called Modern Band. So I went out, and with this money, we bought drum sets, we bought bass guitar amps, guitar amps, and keyboards. And the students were able to go in and learn how to play like in a rock band. So that's called Modern Band.
All right.
So, I started this program in 2006, and not long after that, I became a school board member and then president of
mhm,
the school board.
mhm.
Um, so the thing is, there's not a lot of money to go around for all these items, right? You just can't. School districts just don't have the money to buy these resources like this. So it makes me feel good to be able to provide these things, as I mentioned before, also band instruments or any other instruments for that matter that students cannot afford to buy or rent. As a matter of fact, down in my basement right now, I have another trombone that was donated by a local professional musician that I had cleaned and serviced, and I'm going to be bringing to the school today. And I also have a bass guitar that I picked up a used bass guitar, like brand new, and a bass amp that I'm dropping off to the school today. And a lot of
Wow.
people find out that I'm doing this and they donate these instruments to me. And a big partner, also a big support person for me, and I got to give them a shout out, is the Western PA Blues Society. They're constantly
Oh.
getting instruments like once a month at least. They call me and say, "Hey, we got a guitar for you. We got a bass guitar for you." And as a
That's
matter of
great.
fact, this year at the Holly Jolly Christmas concert, we we were asked to submit essays to the Western PA Blues Society from students that wanna win a guitar. So, I submitted
No
the
way.
essays last week to the president of Blues Society, and they're gonna go over them, and they're gonna award one of our students a brand new electric guitar at the Holly Jolly Christmas
Oh,
concert.
that's great.
So, isn't
That's great.
that cool? So, I'd like
Yeah.
to
That
finish
is
with this.
incredible.
When you say, like, how it could change lives, I'll give you one more example.
Yeah,
Back in, I
please.
think this was, 2008 or 2009, I brought in one of the Beaver Valley Musician Hall of Fame alumni, Ralph LaLama, okay? He's a six or eight-time Grammy award-winning saxophonist who lives in New York and teaches at, SUNY University. So is his
Mhm.
brother, Dave LaLama, who's also a phenomenal piano player, musician, and singer-songwriter, composer. So I bring in Ralph one year, and he works with the kids all week, junior high, high school. We put a concert on. The Hopewell Jazz Band plays with him, and then they also perform with the Trinity Jazz Orchestra. Well, we had a sax player at the time. His name was Mark Jakovic. His name is Mark Jakovic, and he's up there. He was a really good sax player. So he's up on stage, and it just kind of organically happened where he started trading fours, meaning they would go back and forth. Mark would play four measures, Ralph would play four measures, and they're up there playing solos together. And I mean, it was really awesome that this kid was able to do that with this Grammy award-winning saxophonist.
Wow.
So about 3, 4 weeks after the show, I'm at the school one day, and Mark come up to me and he says, "Mr. Bufalini," he goes, "I really want to thank you for something." He said, "Kind of didn't know what I want to do with my life." He says, "But after you bring in Mr. Lalame," and he said, "I want to be a musician." And I said, "That's great. Well, God bless you. Work hard, blah, blah, blah." So
Yep.
fast forward to today. Mark goes to school for music. He was in New York. He was in LA. He's back in Pittsburgh now. And Mark works for the Manchester Craftsman Guild, and he's a
Yes. Yes.
professional saxophonist. And I believe he just got a promotion or something. He takes care of all their archived records. And I apologize to Mark and his family for not knowing the exact title. I should know that off the top of my head. But anyhow, he is doing wonderful. And he developed these programs that he actually goes to schools based on what the school needs. Like, he could go to a third grade class, a sixth grade class, a 10th grade class, a senior class, and he structures these educational programs to that level, and he plays with them. In fact, I had him at Hopewell twice already, and I had him once last year and once the year before, and it's just amazing what he does with these kids. It's captivating. In fact, when he was doing the class and it was done, we were able to get 2 classes back to back, 2 periods to have enough time. It was like I didn't wanna walk away. I learned so much, and,
Right.
so that's what this Holly Jolly, the proceeds, and then I can't even go on what it does about the library, but just keep in mind that it's a parallel. Also, what's happening with these kids at the library, what they're able to do, and how many children it touches and the legacy it leaves. So it's amazing once you start doing something, obviously, and you look back and say, "Wow, it's doing so much for so many." And like I tell the kids, I didn't make a living as a musician, but I still play and have a lot of fun. I play on weekends or what have you, and it's just a lot of fun. It's opened so many doors for me. I mean, I didn't make a living as a musician, but I played in a band that opened for Ray Charles when they came to Pittsburgh. I've opened for blues musicians, national musicians. I played in Memphis. So it just opens up doors, and it's a great thing. So I want to thank you
No.
for having us on. I know we're not ending, but thank you for having us on,
No.
letting me get
Yes.
this out to people. And please, Holly Jolly Christmas Show, um, Saturday, December 6th at Hopewell High School, 7 o'clock. Joe, take it away, man.
Yeah, Joe, what are you currently doing right now with your studio? And I know that you're in a band, Ghost Hounds.
Yeah, yeah. Ghost hounds are, keeping me pretty busy. And we just played Saturday night down in Sarasota. Um, did a show with Brian Kelly, formerly from Florida Georgia Line.
Oh,
That
wow.
band, yeah, and we've been doing a bunch of touring with some pretty well known bands, and just for me, it's living the dream, man. It's
That's incredible.
I'm enjoying it, and we put out our own music, and so and recording is one of the things I really enjoy, and we get them. We're coming up with our own parts, and it's that's one of the things that I really really like. So
And incredible music videos too.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
There's some very interesting stuff. We're fortunate enough to have a little bit of a budget that we can do some creative stuff with, and so it's just a blast for me.
Yeah, that's just the best. There's a band that came out of Beaver County. I know that Jimmy Ross is in the Beaver Valley Musicians Hall of Fame, the
Hmm.
Jaggers.
Yeah,
Um, the rapper, number one. It hit number one, correct?
yeah, yep.
In
Yeah. I think
1970.
for
This
what, like
little
11
band, I
weeks.
don't want to say little band, but these guys from Beaver County
Hmm.
who hit the charts, number one. If you're listening to Sirius XM, you have channel 7 on the 70s music station, you'll hear the rapper.
Right, for sure. Oh
And if
yeah,
you're listening to 80s, they're playing Donnie Iris's music. I mean, straight out of Beaver County. It's the best.
See, that was another band. Jimmy Ross is a dear friend and a Hopewell grad. But
Yeah, great
when
guy.
I remember hearing the Jaggers when I was a young boy, and I heard that, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And the harmonies blew me away. That's what struck me too. I mean, I love the music,
Right.
but when those guys sang, Billy Maybray, Jimmy, um, Donnie, I mean, Benny, it was like, I was like, "This is unbelievable. This is incredible."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and speaking of that, I have to mention, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention another musician in the band is Hermie Granati.
oh
Hermie,
gosh,
Oh, yeah, Hermie,
Hermie's gonna do a
D-Force,
little.
Brody Brothers.
Hermie is also a member of the Holly Jolly Band, and, Hermie's gonna do some, little bit of keyboard work, and Hermie's gonna
Yep,
do some singing, and then Hermie's gonna be Hermie. So, uh,
we
and then
love it.
that's the real show.
also the
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real show there, Hermie being Hermie. And then something else I'm doing this year that's different is we're gonna have an MC for the show, and I'm
Oh,
happy and proud to say that, and honored that he's gonna do it, is Scott Taddy, uh, a
yes,
long
I know that
time
name.
entertainment writer. He's got a great gig going on with WNBA, WBBP. Those guys got a really nice format going on. And so anybody out there, check it out. Check out WNBA, WBBP, what they're doing out there. Doing some great things. They get some great programs, not just in the morning with Scott Taddy, but all day long. And Scott's going to be our MC this year. And Joe and I and a couple other members of the band are going to be going out there and going to be doing a morning show talking about the Holly Jolly with Scott and Frank Sparks and the gang out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
I'm gonna mention this guy. He's not from Beaver County, but he grew up on the Beaver County line. Lou Christie.
Ah,
oh
Lou Christie,
oh yeah,
who unfortunately just recently passed away.
yeah.
I'm guessing
right.
he was a big influence on the Jaggers and so many other musicians, and not just in Pittsburgh, but worldwide.
I've had Lou in
Yes,
my
Worldwide.
studio here actually. Did some recording with him, and he just is the sweetest guy. Just very honest. You'd never know that he was this legend in rock and roll music. And
Right.
what a sweetheart he was. Yeah.
Uh, I have to share this with you before we sign off. I listen to a lot of BBC music out of London, and I can't remember which BBC station it was. It wasn't the main station in London. It was one of the offshoots. May have been out of Scotland or maybe I'm guessing Scotland. And they actually did a tribute to Lou Christie. I
Wow.
can't remember his biggest hit. What was the name of that
Lightning
song?
strikes.
Lightning Strikes. They played Lightning Strikes like 2 days after he passed away, and I was blown away that they were honoring Lou Christie, who's a graduate of Moon Area High School, where
Yeah,
my son went to, where we reside here in Moon. You know, that's my point to all this. Having such a great music scene in Pittsburgh, in Beaver County. I love it.
yeah,
We can get into the sports, all the athletes that are in the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We can get into Pistol Pete Maravich, whose roots are West Alabama, on and on and on and on. I mean,
Hmm.
there,
Yeah.
there's something in the water, and it's the hard work we talked about earlier. The blue collar mindset of previous generations that we all come from.
for sure. I've always thought this too, and I wanted to mention that is when you think back to like we always look at it from the perspective of musicians or athletes or more kind of well-known sort of people, and but like really it boils down to me to our parents, just, and all of our families as human beings, man. Like
Yeah,
they put as much time and effort into being solid people, helping people out, being care, just like the real essence of life and stuff. And it's sometimes neglected, but that's how this area always has seemed to me. It's like every family in our neighborhood pretty much, was like you were you didn't just have one set of parents, you had parents all over the place, and it was a group effort,
yeah,
and they put they just it was, I think it's that kind of thing that we have subconsciously that we're looking up to and making us be better at whatever it is we're doing, and so I think
right.
they deserve a huge shout out for that, thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Hermie touches upon that a lot. I've become good friends with Hermie, and he's one of my favorite persons.
he is.
Um, Such a great guy. And you talk about one of the best storytellers.
Yeah.
He's right up there with his history of the Groney brothers. I guess it would have been G-Force opening for Van Halen on two
Right.
different tours, and how he
Yeah.
became close personal friends with Eddie Van Halen.
Mhm.
And but the thing is, Hermie always attributes everything to his parents
Big Herm. Yeah.
and how they were raised.
Yep.
And I
Big
wish
arm.
I would have gotten to know his parents, because they just sound like the best people. Immigrants, coming from immigrants that came from Italy. You know, um, just the best.
Yeah, man. And they're perfect
I love the.
examples of that, that whole
Yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stellar
right,
human being.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know we're pretty tight on schedules. So, any final thoughts, David and Joe?
Come to the
Well,
Holly
Phil, let
Jolly
me.
Show. Come to the Holly
Yes,
Jolly
yes.
Show.
I will be there. My family will be there. We're going to spread the word to our friends. And David, you said that the auditorium at Hopewell High School seats 1,000 people, right?
Yes, little over 1,000 people, and I'd like to say something else too. If you don't live
Yeah,
in the area, or if you live in the area and you're unable to attend the show, you can live stream the show. We sell the live stream for
excellent,
$20. You can have I have friends and cousins and people that I know all over the country in California, Virginia, and other places, Arizona, that had watch parties the last couple of years. They get some food, some wings,
excellent.
whatever, have people over. So we do have it. Um, you can go on the BF Jones website and get the information. And there's a QR code to buy tickets. We have posters around. This is it. We have a QR code. So if you're unable to attend the show, you can live stream the show. There's no reason why you can't see the show. And then once you live stream it, you buy that link, you'll always have it. But Holly
Okay,
Jolly, I guarantee you, it's to have to be in the auditorium and with the energy of the show. It's
without
tremendous.
question.
Yeah.
And what I'll do, guys, is when I publish this, it will be on the link for this concert. Will be up and running.
Right.
I'm going to be asking people to subscribe, follow Phil's Place,
Mhm.
this podcast,
Sure.
but I want to branch off, and it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great time.
Phil,
You
thanks
can
so
buy
much,
tickets.
man.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
Joe, David, thank you very, very, very much. I cannot, explain how appreciative I am that the two of you took time from your very busy schedules to be on this podcast.
My pleasure.
And by the way,
Thank
this is the first interview I'm doing for this podcast.
Nice.
So I think we went pretty strong with the first one,
Great
gentlemen.
job, man.
Really
Yeah.
This is
do.
great.
Yeah.
You know. So again, thank you very much. And I will be in touch.
Awesome, man.
Thank you. One more thing, you could get
Yep.
tickets. You could get tickets at the B.F. Jones Library. You could get them
Okay.
at the medicine shop in Elicopa, Friendly Federal Credit Union.
Excellent.
You can get them at the door the night of the show, and you can also get them. There's an Eventbrite website that you can get them on. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Both of you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. And I'll see you both at the show.
All right, brother.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.
All right. Thanks,
See you,
guys. Have a
Buff.
good one. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See you, Joe.
Bye-bye.
Holly jolly.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Holly jolly.